What's up, everybody? Hello, how you doing? Welcome back to another podcast, Beyond Click and Cliff. This is a podcast where I tell you about my life experiences and other stuff other than Lego most of the time. Something for you to listen to while you build Lego, work, mow the yard, do your chores at home, and just have me on in the background. And you can laugh, cry, get aggravated with me, um, all at the same time. Something fun to do. I hope you've been enjoying it. I've been enjoying doing these. Um, so yeah, we'll go ahead and get into what I got to say today. Guys, I'm gonna go ahead. I know I've repeated this story to you countless of times, but last Sunday night on Clicking and Breaking, we had a question asked. What got me back into Lego? Well, so I kind of told the story on that stream, but I'm gonna go in a little bit more in depth and detail with you guys. And I said I've done this before. I think I did it on just a sit down series that I did a long time ago. And I think I did it at the beginning of Beyond Click and Cliff series. But I'm going to do it again for all the new people that may be listening out there. I'll take you back. Guys, years are kind of sketchy with me, especially during the time where all this happened. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try for you. I know it was 2019. I was working and I was having real bad pain in the gut. I thought it was just a flu or bad gas. Back when I was 10, 11, I got diagnosed with an spastic colon. And colon just kind of sits there and goes spatic for a few minutes and ends. Kind of like a seizure for your colon kind of thing. But I never really had that much issue until 2019, and it started feeling kind of the same way. So I kind of just figured it was that, and it'd go away, right? Well, it didn't go away. So I finally went to I went to the emergency room. It was bad enough one evening. I went to the emergency room, and they diagnosed it as diverticulitis, which, that's most of the time curable. The doctors told me to stay away from corn, peanuts, anything that was hard to digest. Kind of give it a break. So I did that for a while. I spent a week in the hospital because of it. But after that, I got out, went back to work, doing my thing, and I was feeling better. And I I don't remember what I ate, but I ate it, and I guess it wasn't good. Because the next day I started getting real bad off. Like it was like hurting again, bad. So it scared me because I just got out of the hospital maybe a month ago for it, and I go, man, here we go again. So I finished my day, went home, and I was just felt horrible, bad. I mean, it's just bad. So I went to the hospital again. They admitted me, and then this time my colon kind of exploded. I mean, diverticulitis, the way I can figure it, is kind of like an ulcer in your stomach. There's a hole, but diverticulitis is kind of like a pit in your intestines, and a seed or a nut or corn can get in there and basically cause an infection, and that's what it was doing. And I guess it kind of punctured my intestines. I was leaking bowel into my belly. I got septic a little bit, so they had to put drains on. I went in there, had to put drains in me. I was off work for a month. And I thought, well, I get this healed, I'll go back to work. I mean, I may have to take a couple of days off. I did not intend to whatever happened happen. So anyway, I had the drains coming in, and I was sitting in my chair. It wasn't getting better. I was just the drains was pulling out the infection, and which I had two of them going now. I had two drains going in me. Finally, I developed fistulas, and that's basically your body getting rid of infection. It's kind of like a hole a hole coming out your belly and stuff. And I had to put bags on it and catch the infection, or it'd be a mess. It was just a horrible time for me. And finally, I went to the doctor. They said, "Well, we're going to have to clear you up of this infection and then do surgery on you." I go, okay, so I went to work, put a 120-day FMLA leave in. So, to cover my, make sure I have a job afterwards. I had surgery, get this fixed, be back at work in no time, and be good, right? Well, that's where my body started hating me. I remember I was off for a week. And when a body does a traumatic, your body changes and tries to defend it, and your body can actually put you in more hurt than good. So I was smoking at the time, which but anyway, sitting there, and my boss came over, and they gave me a gift, and get well better. They gave me some money to help with the bills. He came over, and I stood up the chair to go answer the door. I was able to do that. I was good to do that, and I felt some kind of something from head to toe. I mean, you could tell when your body changed, and I threw a clot into my lung and had a pulmonary embolism. I didn't know it at the time. I went and had a conversation with him. I went and took a shower, shaved. Wife got home, and I started feeling cool and clammy, and I said, something ain't right. And so my wife took me back to the hospital and found out that I had pulmonary embolism, and I was flown to a different hospital, and the doctor said, we're on a guideline. It's 50-50 that you live, pass through this, or you'll get through it. And I opened up my eyes scared. I started typing to my daughter, a text, because she stayed home. So during the flight, I was texting her, trying to tell her everything I wanted to tell her. I wanted to tell, I loved her, and I wanted, make sure she knew how proud I was and all that stuff. That's what I did. I was just trying to tell her everything I could before, something would happen. I wanted to make sure she knew, and what I would love for her to do in life and all that stuff. I was just texting her. Everything. Got to the hospital, and I got lucky. They went through my arm and put some kind of chemical up there to break the clot up, and it passed through just fine. Now, of course, I gotta be on medication the rest of my life, so I wouldn't, so that wouldn't happen again. I put some kind of wire there in my valve where it's supposed to catch clots before it even gets up there. So, I felt pretty confident that, I won't have to deal with that again. But, yeah, then I went, of course, with blue cloth, they can't do surgery on you for 6 months. So I had to live with those drains for 6 months, or 6 months. And I finally had to go into my job and basically tell them I ain't going to be able to come back to work because of this. And I had a timeline, 120 days. I would have had enough time to do my surgery and recover and go back to work. But with this pulmonary embolism, put me back for 6 months, and I couldn't work the job I was doing with drains in my belly. So I had to go in there and I had to tell them I had to quit, which I never quit a job in my life. Well, I did, but I mean, I never had to quit under them circumstances. Um, and my boss, told me, he said, when you get better, and if you're able, you'll have a job here no matter what. So yeah, we can take this time, and get better, and then just when you get better, come back and I'll rehire you and all that stuff. So okay, that made me feel a little bit better. I'll still be able to go back to work. So I went home and sat there and watched TV in pain. Um, I was on a lot of pain medication because it was non-stop. My nurses come to the house and all that jazz, but and then it was getting better. I was in and out of the hospital a lot during that time, for infections and stuff like that. Well, finally, it came to the surgery. I was happy to get it done. All right, let's go do this, get it done. So I went in the hospital. Went through the first surgery, and they did it microscopically. They just were going to cut out the bad part and reattach my intestines and go from there. So they did that surgery. Got out. I was in the hospital. Kind of excited to got it done. And then physical therapy came in. Wanted me to get up and walk, which I did. Kind of. I got up and I felt something fall in my stomach. It just a sudden feel of drop, like you're falling from 100 feet air, but you wasn't. You know how you jump and you get that little sensation, your stomach goes into your throat. It was the opposite. I went down, and I told them physical there was something wrong, and pain, just like that. And they thought it was just pain from surgery, and I said, no, this is something different. They still made me walk, so I walked. But I wasn't getting better. And this is like 4 days now. I'm sitting in the hospital and I'm still out of it. The doctor goes, man, you ought to be getting better now. What's going on? So they sent me down to another CAT scan, and they found that the intestines ripped apart while I was getting up to go walk. And I got septic and I caught pneumonia, so they had put me on life support. I was on life support, my wife said, for 2 weeks. I don't remember a thing. I remember waking up and my wife pat me on the arm and said, you're getting better, you're getting better. I'm like, what do you mean I'm getting better? What happened? I mean, I couldn't talk because then I found out that I had a trach going on in my throat, and I couldn't really talk. That's what it was, and I was like, man, that's not good. Finally, the wife kind of told me what happened. Horrible. I mean, it was horrible. And that's when I had my ileostomy bag put on. So that's what I named him George. So if you ever hear me say George, you know who I'm talking about. I think it's a lot better calling him George than another butthole in my belly. So, and I was real self-conscious of it, and now it is what it is. People ask, I'll tell, and I just told all you. But anyway, that took a lot, and then I asked the doctor about going back to work, and he said, he goes, right now you can't really lift anything over 10, 15 pounds. You don't want me to strain, because where it's at, where they had to put it and all that stuff is real. I mean, I guess I see people online working with it, but he told me not to. So I had to get on disability. Went back to my boss, and after I was feeling better, I went to the boss and talked to him for a minute or two. I said, I can't go back to work. So they put me on disability, and through all this time, I spent 8 months in the hospital. This is almost a year from when it began, and I had to learn how to walk again. I had to go in the nursing home and do physical therapy. I basically had to learn how to walk again. And now I still ain't got my step, and this is men. I don't know. It's 2024 now, and this is 2020. So, I mean, it's been a few years, and I still ain't got I got a lot more stamina back than I did before. But at first, man, I didn't have no stamina. I had to learn how to walk again. It took me a month of learning how to walk again. But then I couldn't walk very long without getting tired now, just because my body's weak from everything. Finally, in the last few years, I getting better. Stamina is still not that great, but I'm working on it. But then I started getting depressed. Got home. All I did was sit down and watch TV, play a couple video games, watch movies, and in my easy chair. I think I had Netflix at the time. I think I watched everything on Netflix, everything, and I just got depressed. It's like I was working every day, active every day. Then it came to a sudden stop, and I couldn't. And I felt like I wasn't accomplishing nothing. And I'm the type of guy who I at least want to feel some kind of accomplishment at the end of the day. So I did that. Got depressed, and then one night, I was watching the first season of Lego Masters. There was something on, there was something to watch. So I turned it on, and my wife came in, sat on the couch, and I told her, I said, when I was a kid, I used to do that. And she didn't say nothing. We watched it. I go, that's pretty, I was calling, that's pretty cool how they did that, I got interested in it. And the next day, my wife comes home from work with like 4 Lego sets from the dollar store. Now let's take it, it was only $20 sets. And I think my first one I built was the Captain America mech. And I found out I liked it, so I built the rest of them, and I thought, well, I need some more. So we went to Walmart, and she bought some more, and it just took off from there. Lego did say, Lego's kind of saved me because I got out of my depression. I got off the depression medicine, and because I feel like I accomplished something finally. I finally was able to accomplish something. After I built a Lego set, I felt like I accomplished something. So that's where I am today with it. I'm better. I still have some issues. I still got to work on my stamina. I still got a little bit of issues going on, but we're making it better than what we did before. Well, guys, this is going to be it of this podcast, Monica Cliff. Hope you enjoyed my little story I gave you. This is, what's wrong with me. So, guys, remember, pay it forward. Be nice to one another. Treat others like how you want to be treated. And until the next time, bye-bye.